and welcome again to Sam's 10-Minute Tuesdays. I'm your host with my co-host, Joe Templin. Joe, how's it
Good to
going?
see you, Mickey.
Well, this topic is near and dear to Joe's heart, especially, but mine as well, because while some producers will succeed alone, most will fail alone. And like the old acronym, team says, together everyone achieves more. But especially in particular, this is around why champions want to be coached. And again, people can succeed by themselves, and a lot of people do succeed by themselves. But to really reach that pinnacle of success, that ultimate, the best level of performance, no one really does it alone. Even if you do it alone, you're still dependent on other people for equipment, the tools, motivation, etc. But truly, there's probably no better investment than having a coach for accountability reasons, as well as measurement and performance. So, but Joe, what's been your experience about what comes to being coached and coaching others?
I am a product of coaching. If it were not for coaching, I would not be sitting here today. I'd be a schmuck sitting in a lab someplace doing research, blowing stuff up, having fun like that. So coaching brings out the best because it sets standards and it sets a vision for those who are being coached. Now, one of the most interesting things about coaching, though, is how it develops the coach also. $1 Million Roundtable, MDRT, for years had a mentoring program. And one of the things that they found from their mentoring program was that the mentee, the person who's barely qualifying or just barely qualifying for Roundtable, would see their production increase in a 12-month period by 25-ish%. But the mentor, the individual with more experience, who is typically close to quarter of the table, but very often not yet there, would see an increase in their production of an even greater percentage. So Mark Fine, wherever you are, my friend, I still owe you because of the time, that 6 months that you sat down and we met weekly, and I increased my production by about 25 to 30%, and he increased his by more than 40, because I was challenging him and challenging his assumptions, and he had to be able to teach better. He had to understand what he was doing more intimately and review it and understand it. And so the coaches improve even more than the coached. And one thing about coaching, especially within financial services, is that you get a new crop coming in every single year. Duke basketball gets a new crop coming in every single year. And the coach gets better and better every single year that they coach. And so the people that they are coaching end up at a much higher level overall. So somebody who's been a leader for an extended period of time ends up being even better and better. So a young manager or coach is there because of partially their talent and their experience, but as they become more gray-haired and experienced, they've made more mistakes. They have more successes. They have learned not just from their coaching process, but what works and what doesn't work. And so coaching gets better and better and better over time. And that is one of the things that we have seen, and the best want to be coached and want to be coached hard. Michael Jordan is the classic example versus Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson wanted to do what he did on the court. Allen Iverson wanted to play. He did not want to practice. Practice? We talking about practice? And it shows. Yes, he made the Hall of Fame as an individual, but his team never won a championship. Think about that. So the question is, do you want to be a champion or do you want to be great? I would rather be a champion any single day. And so having good coaches around you will help bring that out. And coaches can work in a lot of different ways. We have mental coaches. We have physical skill coaches. We have business development coaches. The best athletes, the best performers in business have multiple coaches working on different aspects of them as a person and performer, whether it's performing on a basketball court, football field, or in the boardroom like we do. They have multiple coaches looking at different aspects so that they can improve a little bit here, a little bit there, and ultimately over time, they can unlock their true excellence. And then they interact with other great, excellent coaches and leaders and continue to move forward.
Yeah, I made a great point before about how it pushes the coach as much as it does the coachee. Not sure if that's the right word for it, but they say that when the best way to learn something is to teach it, and it thrusts you into the moment called now and makes you become better at what you're doing. And I can see that happening, especially in this industry. Because the other thing that's kind of related to this, in that no other industry other than the financial service industry gives so unconditionally to each other. Mentors, peers, the MDRT, the core of the table, top of the table. They're always willing to help out the people around them. I can't tell you the number of times people I've watched people really sharing best practices with their competitors.
Absolutely.
Not just down the street.
That doesn't happen anywhere else.
No.
The New England Patriots are not going to call up the Miami Dolphins and say, "Hey, come on in and watch our practice and learn."
No.
Okay. The fact that Mariano Rivera was sitting at an all-star game showing other pitchers how to throw the cutter 10 plus years ago was just astounding. Yet you go to a NAFA meeting and you've got a 30-year veteran from one company sitting there with a rookie from another company saying, "Hey kid, these are some of the mistakes I made, don't make them. Hey, try this line with your clients." And it doesn't matter if it's NAFA or FPA or SIA Financial Services Professionals, all these organizations, all these groups are giving unconditionally of themselves to each other because, as the Rotarians say, givers get. And turning around and reaching into yourself to hand something to somebody else that can help them does not diminish me. If I take my candle and light yours, my light does not diminish in any way, shape, or form. There is more light in the world. And guess what? Your now lit candle lets me see myself better, which then improves me. And that is the idea behind coaching. Iron sharpens iron, shared ideas produce additional ones. We all grow and benefit in an economy that is not scarcity based, but abundance based in that.
That's the point I was thinking about earlier. Absolutely. This industry looks at things from a position of abundance, not scarcity. That's why so many financial service professionals, insurance agents, financial advisors, they give so unconditionally to people, not only just down the street, but down a couple floors or even down the hall, because they know they're ultimately look at things from a position of abundance and give each other share best practices to help them succeed. But it's also when it comes to coaching and mentors, there are two other things I think that play into it. I think that I like to point out. The one is the accountability aspect, which you and I have been talking about for months. Having some degree of accountability, some degree of accountability helps you become better. Accountability is simply a win-win condition or strategy. But also the reason why coaches do so well for their students is because that student and that advisor, that insurance agent has somebody who believes in them.
Yep.
You mentioned about what Mark Feinstein.
Mark Fine, yep, Latham, New York.
He believed in you, and you don't have to be a coach to do that. I guess even without coaches, if you have someone who believes in us, that's really what fuels the fire, and as well as the accountability and helping us sharpen the saw and become the best we can be.
Yeah, and so if we can surround ourselves with people who coach us on micro levels, who believe in us more than anybody who has never shared the same last name, by creating an environment around that, that is an environment of growth and success. And that is one of the things that organizations, whether it's for-profit or not for-profit, whether it's formalized or informalized, that's what produces. And fortunately, SAM USA as a tool helps gather the data and help reinforce that concept internally and externally, which we'll talk about next time. Because remember, sales is an activity game. And introductions let you win that game every single day. Go get them, coach.
See you next week.